Hi guys, I'm Danny, and I started a Sunday gym because I've noticed lately that people tend to go to colleges and universities without actually knowing why they're there. And afterwards, starting jobs that are unfulfilling. So I'm interviewing different professionals to see what they have to say and share their knowledge and experience with you. I hope you enjoy it. Beeping right now. Right on, Dave. Thanks for being with me. How you doing?
I'm doing amazing. It's been my pleasure to be here.
It's an absolute joy to have you. I saw the resume. I like what I saw. I wanted you to be here, and I'm thankful that you are. The program will be focused on three main questions. What do you do for a living? How did you get there? And how did you know that this was the way to go? So tell us what you do for a living, please.
All right. So my primary 9 to 5 is as a detective, working in the general squad, doing burglaries, sexual assaults, and robberies, things like that. Felonies primarily, and also juvenile cases. And then when I go home, I am the host of the Hero Academy podcast. And that is where I celebrate our frontline heroes, people that society calls heroes, such as police officers, firemen, nurses, and military. And I've been podcasting for about 3 years now. I'm up to my little over 100 episodes, and I could have done more if I was recording on a daily show, but I'm doing a weekly show because I still work full time. And I also coach first responders, and I've written 2 books as well. So
Nice.
I'm doing a lot. I'm doing a
You're a
lot of
busy
things.
man. And I
I am.
understand for a couple of years, almost 100 episodes and a weekly stuff, because I'm exactly like that as well myself. So
Yeah.
I completely understand. You're doing an amazing thing, and I don't know how. I really don't. Somehow, I'm an accountant, all right, by trade. Now, you open the newspaper, you see a corrupt accountant that scammed somebody, and you just go to the next page.
Right.
Because, it happens. We're not all like that, but it happens. However, when it happens, you just, you know, take it as it is and move on. My mother is a dentist. My father was a real estate agent. When something like that happened in their profession, again, you just move to the next page. Somehow, I've noticed this, especially for the EU and for the US, because I'm interviewing mostly people from there. Everybody's welcome, but just happen to have the majority of my guests are from those two places. Somehow, when a police officer mess things up, everybody's bad. Everybody's messed. How?
The reason why is because it's considered a very trustworthy profession. So when you break the public trust, it becomes big time news. It's like a doctor that's abusing their patients,
Which
um,
happens.
which
I'm not,
happens, and
I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm saying that it's life. In life, that
that's why it becomes major news because this person is a person of authority and they're in a position of trust, in public trust, and when they violate that trust, it becomes a major, even international news.
intercontinental as well.
Yes.
I I think that's right. I have huge respect for law enforcement, for firefighters. However, I think it's wrong to hold those people up in a high pedestal, and I'll tell you why. Because in the end of the day, we're all just guys. We're all men. We're all human.
All human.
And I can do a mistake, and so can you, and so can everybody else. And when we do that, let God forbid, of course, we do something messed up. There's a court system. You can be judged there and move on. But it's rather pointless and not to mention dangerous and troublesome to put people on such a high mark and expect insane amount of stuff from them. I've interviewed a couple of people, and it we do forget that at the end of the day we human, right?
Yes. Yes, we are.
And your nervous system, my career started in the government, so I like have a little bit more tolerance for stupidity, like it's a superpower, because when you're exposed to it on such a young age, then you just move on. But and I'm joking, of course, but you know that we all have tolerance to a certain level, and when we break, like for example, if I burn out or something, I'm just wishing everybody well and going on vacation for about a week. I don't think a lot of police officers can afford that.
No, the reason why is because the salaries in the US and also in the EU, it's just enough to keep you coming back every week. It's not enough to make you wealthy.
Yeah,
So it's just enough to support your family and maybe you can take a little vacation here and there. But most civil servants need overtime in order to pay their bills. And
I
if they can't get the overtime, then they need another path. And that's what I try to offer. There's so many different ways to make extra money on the side. You don't have to be a podcaster, you don't have to be a YouTuber. You can you can create email lists and send out an email once a week and do a promotion daily like that. There's a lot of ways that you don't have to become a public facing figure and you can earn extra money. There's just a ton of ways that people just aren't aware of.
yeah. I don't know about the US, at least here in Southern Europe, we have those called the stations. Stations are places where firefighters, soldiers, police officers, like going with their families at the coastal line on vacations, but those are reserved especially for them. We
Oh,
have the
cool.
same things in the mountains, and they pay like 10, 12 euro per night, which is about 10 US dollars, which is super affordable.
Yeah. What country are you in?
I'm in Bulgaria, Southern Europe. We have those in Greece, Italy, I think in Albania, but I'm not sure because there wasn't a lot of info. There are a lot of those in Spain and in Portugal as well.
So if I go and visit Bulgaria, now I have a contact there in how many countries have you been to in Europe? A lot?
Oh, I don't know. No, not a lot. Maybe six, seven, eight, something like that.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I used to know because I used to have a passport and they put that stamp on it, and now we don't have that. We just with
Right.
your ID card, so I don't know.
That's cool. That's cool. I haven't been to Europe at all. Mostly southern, um, mostly the US and mostly South America. That's where I've traveled to.
If you ever travel here, I recommend do it for at least 1 week because and have your schedule in advance because there are a lot of things, like thousands of years of history.
I
And
know.
you cannot do it in a simple weekend. You just simply can't. There's a lot to be seen.
I just want to I wish there were still stamps on passports because I just
So
my
do
my my goal is to get a couple of stamps a year. So I wanted to travel to two countries every year. But if you go to Europe, it's very easy to hop on a train and hit
yeah.
multiple countries in one day, right?
Yeah, but then you'd be just visiting, not seeing. And I really don't
Yeah.
recommend that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
My second question is, how did you get there? So you were like walking on the street one day and you decided to be a police officer and then have a podcast, or something else led to it?
Uh, my story begins at high school. I was told that I was going to be a father. So I wanted to support the family because my father wasn't in the picture. And the easiest path for me, I had two choices, was to become a pilot, commercial airline pilot. I was going to school for that at the time, or become a police officer, which didn't require as much schooling as being a pilot was going to require. So I had to get a 2 year degree and I joined the NYPD at the tender age of 22 years old. And then I had about a month and a half, maybe 6 weeks left of the academy, and I left there as quickly as I possibly could and joined another police department, which was a higher paying and more local to where I live. So it's a lot closer. So now my commute It
Yeah, that's
went from,
pretty good because you know your neighborhood, they know you,
yes. My
and
commute used to be an hour and a half one way just to get into the city. And then my commute went to 20 minutes. And now my commute is about 7 minutes per day. And I want to cut that down even shorter and work from home, shooting shooting content, YouTube and podcasts, and make my commute down to 1 minute a day, just the time it takes to get to my studio.
nice. That's pretty good, and it kind of covered the third question, and is how did you knew that this was the way to go?
Because
And
I've always been inspired by speakers, especially the motivational speakers that would get on the stage and inspire people with their story. And one of my mentors told me to write a book. So I did write a book. It was on personal development. It's called The Pathway to Prosperity. And when he told me to write the book, he told me that I could also become a speaker. And I believed him, and I did become a speaker. And now I just view podcasting as another form of speaking.
yeah,
Instead of speaking in front of a live audience, you're speaking to the microphone or you're speaking to the camera. And we are speakers, we're also creators. And I love the creator economy. And I've been watching YouTube since 2007, and I knew that I needed to create YouTube. I'm still not like really, really active on YouTube, but I knew that I needed to create video and I needed to create content. I've known that probably since 2009 that I need to create more and put more stuff out there.
how old were you at 2009?
2009, that's a really difficult How many years ago is that? I'm 48 right now.
No way, you're 48 years old.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
Are you sleeping in a refrigerator?
I go to the gym every day and I drink a
That,
lot of
no,
water.
that's what I mean, how is that? That's not even a serious reply. I go to the gym every day too. I look like I died in the Trojan War.
A lot of water and a lot of walking. That's all.
Obviously,
Sunshine.
some good genetics in there too.
And I stopped eating meat in 2019 also. So
That's
I know in Europe, veganism is a very popular thing, right? It's like maybe 1/3 of the population.
probably it's the third that's away from me. I don't know, I don't know anyone around who's like that. That's one thing I cannot give, and that's meat. I just simply yeah, like that's why we have this saying, especially for the South, right? So you're going to live as a sick man to die healthy. It doesn't make any sense. You don't eat, you don't drink. And I'm not promoting meat or alcohol, all right? I'm just using because I like them. They taste good.
Everyone dies.
Yeah,
Everyone dies of something, right?
yeah. And but it's obviously it works for you pretty good, man.
It's working. It's working for me.
Uh, I wanted to ask the whole point of how did you know this was the way to go is that now, first of all, you've been a police officer for a while now. You were able to be accepted as a pilot, although you decided not to, you were still accepted. Technically, that means that what tells me is that you've been physically well built since young age. And it's not about the gym, and I hope people understand. I'm not trying to insult anybody here. I'm highlighting that different people have different genetics, and some are well built and some are not. And obviously you are. So you could have done any number of things.
I started doing push-ups in my hallway when I
Yeah,
was probably 13, 14 years old, push-ups and crunches, because my neighbor was a champion wrestler. So, yeah, my neighbor growing up, my best friend, he was a county champion and like a state champion, almost a state champion, like a runner-up for the state championship. So he was a really, really good wrestler, and he was like a natural athlete. His family was
yeah.
very big into
Natural
athlete.
athlete. That's what I was looking for as a word.
Yeah, he was big into athletics. So he was a big influence on me because I didn't play any sports, but I wanted to we would mess around and we would like tangle a little bit. And he would always, tune me up really good.
Yeah.
And but when I became a teenager, so as soon as I hit 13, I started dropping down in front of my mom's mirror in the hallway,
Yeah.
push-ups, 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 and I would do 25 and then 24 and then 23 and then all the way down, and then I'd work my way back up, and I would be doing hundreds of push-ups and hundreds of sit-ups in front of the mirror. And then when I got to middle school and high school, I started hitting the weights, and I only focused on upper body. I
Yeah,
would just
most
do a
boys
lot of
do.
I would just do a lot of bench press, and I had a really big chest at like 16 years old. So, yes, I've been working out a long time, and but I was a chubby kid. As a little kid, I was chubby. I had like, big legs and like a chubby cheeks and and a little belly. But when girls started saying that I was cute, that was like my cue to start working out like religiously. And by
Honestly,
the
when I work out, I'm also ignoring the lower part as well. And that's why I
Not
love
anymore, not
swimming.
anymore.
Yeah, no, that's why I really love swimming and boat rolling. Because you simply
Okay.
cannot ignore the lower part when you're doing that.
Yeah, I joined the gym close to me so that I could swim, but I only swam in it twice. I really enjoy lifting weights and like doing the cardio machines. Um, so I like to walk on an incline. That's what I do for legs, and I like to do leg press. I don't like to do squats, but I
Yeah.
like to do the lying leg press and the leg extensions. So I work my legs almost every day. But when I was when I was 18 years old, 20 years old, I knew that I was going in that direction. So I kept myself in really good shape. And then that just continued throughout my whole life. So I wouldn't say it's as much genetics as it was environment and who was influencing me. And
Those are
and
always important, no question about it. And it's amazing that you are basically a teenager. It's safe to say that you're a teenager when you are aware of what you want, right? You didn't knew exactly how things will be because nobody does, but and actually that's why I started this whole program because I knew what I was going to do as a job at the age of 15, 16. My whole family was like that. My friends are like that. Everybody around. And turns out that we're a minority. A lot of people are not like that. And, I'm always giving the money example. I've lost money. I'm sure you've lost money. Everybody have, right?
hundreds of thousands.
And yeah, I've never lost that. I was talking about a couple of cents here and there. But because I'm like really stingy when it comes to the And but losing time is something more dangerous than losing money or friends or relationships. Because
Yes.
at some point you gotta end it. But
Yes.
losing time and a lot of time. So what do we have here? We have a couple of 25, 6, 7 year old young adults. Those are not children. If you're out of university, I'll call you, you're not a child no more. So they have those diplomas that aren't using. They they basically lost a lot of time. That's quite a problem. I talked to a professor of mine. That's how the whole problem started. I said, why aren't you addressing this issue? He said, well, I mean, it's been going on for like that for 10, 15 years now. Like, if you have a problem with your sink, you're not going to wait 10, 15 years. You're going to call the plumber now. Why aren't you? And I know why he wasn't addressing it. It's a business. And
Yes.
that's why I'm trying to collect all those examples and to give it to the public.
University is a business, and I would tell people that if you don't know what you want to do, look at one of the public service careers where you're in the medical field, fire service, or police service, and they offer a lot of opportunity to move into other things. And it's a great way to support your life and support your family. And it's not like the military where you sign a contract. You can move on. I've seen people who retired after 5 years and then they retired after 10 years and they move to something different. I've seen a lot of people leave the job sooner than retirement age because they started a business but what it does is it gives you a foundation to really look at your options. It gives you a lot more options.
Your advice is way, way better than mine. Because mine always is, if you don't know what you're doing, don't do anything. Because you're gonna mess it up. But yours is better.
Yeah, I say find a secure job that you can do temporarily. It doesn't have to be for your entire life. It doesn't have to be a 20-year career. You could do it for 5 or 10 years, and then other options open up to you. And you start to say, you know what, I think I might want to go into computer programming. And then you have money, you have income coming in that you can apply to going to more university for a very specific thing. The problem is when kids go to university and they don't know what they want to do, they're wasting time and they're wasting money, just like you said.
Yeah. And I've talked to folks from the US. Like here in Europe, we have a few crazy expensive universities, but a few. Oxford, Cambridge, those type of unis. But I went to private college. And when I was in the private college, I was working as a bartender. And I didn't have any problem paying for the whole thing with my bartender salary. And I
Right.
was a bartender in an Irish pub. I wasn't the butler for the Buckingham Palace. It was normal job, normal payment. But still, a lot of people were really in that situation. This is why I actually have a fourth question. And I know you can talk about it for ages, but just synthesize it. If you can give one advice to those people that are right now in college, in university, or just started a job, and they're asking the question, is this for me? Am I really built for this? Is am I at my own place? Because I know you've dealt with this situation before in one form or another. If you can give them one advice, what will it be?
My advice would be really sit down and ask yourself, what is it that I think I want to do? And if you sit with that question and you ask yourself, what is it that I think I want to do? And then you start moving in that direction towards the thing that you think you want to do. There's a quote that I love, and it says, go as far as you can see. And when you get there, you'll see how to go further. So, whatever journey you're on, whether it's a journey to become a magnificent speaker or whether it's a journey to become a YouTuber, turn on the camera, start filming videos, make your first 100 videos. And then when you get to that point, you'll see how to go further or what direction you want to go in. It's just like climbing a really big, big hill, a beautiful hill on the countryside. As soon as you get a little bit higher, you come around a turn and you say, oh, okay, that's the way to go a little higher. And then you see another way. Oh, I can go around that bend and I can get a little bit higher. And then once you're up there, your perspective completely changes. And that's why I tell people to try a civil service or public service job because it's secure, it gives you fulfillment, it gives you income. And then when you get there, you see all of the different avenues that are open to you. You see all of the different things that are open to you, and then you can see how to go a little bit further from where you are. Those are for the people. That's the advice for the people that have no idea what direction to go in.
That's a beautiful advice. A lot of truths, except the one that you're 48. I'm going to refuse. But perfectly described. And with that said, Dave, huge thanks for being with me, man. I appreciate it. Please don't forget to send me all kind of links and stuff because I'm putting it on the description. Channel's mostly viewed on LinkedIn, so let us see it.
I will absolutely do that. I'm going to plug two things. Listen to the Hero Academy podcast by Super Dave. And I've also released my new book just a couple of months ago called The Heroic Coaching Blueprint. And that is how to create a lucrative coaching business from your career that you're already in. Thank you so
No,
much.
remarkable, useful advice. Dave, thanks for being with me. Have a
Thank you
remarkable.
so much, Danny. I appreciate you.
Likewise, sir. Guys, I hope this one was useful. Please follow the channel on YouTube, Rumble, Twitter, Gap, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Ring the bell and all the good stuff. Have a nice week ahead, and I'll see you next Sunday.